Good. Well, it's not noon yet. It's not afternoon yet. So I'm going to say happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Rotary. All right. I'm Trudy Williams. I am your Rotary Club of Tyler president. I am going to call this meeting to order. Okay. I want everyone to thank. We always have such beautiful piano music from Vicky Conway. I enjoy it. I know you all enjoy it. And while we are thanking people, we had two really great greeters today. Judy Venable and wait, who was it? Who was the second greeter? Was it Chris? Chris! Yes, Judy and Chris were our two greeters, and I hope everybody got thoroughly greeted on your way in. Okay, now the next thing that I would like for you to do is look at your cell phone, take it out of your pocket, hold it up like this, look at it, make sure that it's on silent, okay? Turn your ringer off. And then I would like for you to take a picture of yourself with someone at your table or with your entire table or with the whole group or anybody that you would like to take. And post that picture to your social media. Tag the Rotary Club of Tyler. You can actually check in to Holly Tree Country Club or you can check into the Rotary Club of Tyler. Okay? All right, here we go. I'm going to attempt it one more time. My arms are not as long as your immediate past president's arms, nor am I as long-winded.
Bill.
But here we go.
Bill's taking pictures of me.
Hey, Trudy! Go, Trudy!
Okay.
Hey, BJ.
Now just make sure your phone is turned to silent, and I would like to welcome Greg Papa to the podium to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem.
If you could all please stand. Face the flag, over here by our president-elect. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say can you see, I long to be mine, once so proudly we live at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang there, the bombs were singing there, they flew the night, and our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, will you join me in prayer? Father in heaven, we thank you, as always, for the blessings of the day. We thank you for our homes, our family, and we thank you, Father, for this time together as Rotarians. Father, we pray that you will bless this food that you provided to the nourishment for our bodies so we can be strengthened and better to your will. Please help us to live by the four-way test. Help with this chapter of Rotary accomplish its mission. May we accomplish it at the district and zone and international level. Please bless our efforts. Please help us as individuals to follow the four-way test and to live our lives as your son Jesus would if he still walked amongst us as a mortal human being. We thank you especially for the spiritual blessings that we have through your son Jesus. And it's in his name that we pray. Amen. Amen. Please be seated. Good afternoon, folks. My name is Bill Pascal. It's a pleasure to welcome you to our Thursday afternoon meeting at the Rotary Club of Tyler. And at this time, I just want to go around the room from table to table, see if we have any visiting Rotarians. Kim, is it all good over there?
Yeah, he said we have a guest Rotarian friend.
Oh, really?
Very good friend.
Who do we have today?
John Hart from South Powder.
Oh. One of them, huh? There you see you, John. Good. Any visiting Rotarians back there? Up there, Allison, you guys got any visiting Rotarians? Over there? The head table? What about this table right here? Who do you have? Come on and stand up. That's part of the hazing process.
Yes, this is Grace Ann Miller. She's with Caldwell Baker.
Yes.
But she is also Brooke's girlfriend.
Yes.
So.
Okay, are you a Rotarian?
She will be.
Yeah, I will be now.
Oh, okay, all right. Has anybody warned you about the hazing process?
No, look out now, look out.
Okay, all right. Any other guests that we have here today? Any other guests at all? Going once, twice, three times. All right, there we go. Back to you, Madam President.
All right, thank you, Bill. Okay, this is part of the next part in the program that we usually will have Paul Gleiser come up, but Paul Gleiser's not here with us today. And you all know how fun it is to have this week in history. So one of the things that I did was, I said, well, I hate to deprive you all of some historical moments. So when I found out that Paul was going to be here, I decided, okay, I'm going to look up the date, August 2nd, and just see if there's anything interesting out there on the internet to see what it says. August 2nd, if you've made it this far, it is the 214th day of the year, and that means that we have 151 days to go if we're following the Gregorian calendar. So 151 days. That's right. And if you're in Texas, then you've probably lived through a couple of weeks of triple-digit temperatures. I know it's really hot outside. I'm hoping that at least by this weekend that we have that cold front come through. It's promising 99-degree weather. So I know, just brace yourselves, people. You may have to build a fire in the fireplace. And the only thing when I was looking at events, there is one thing, and I don't even, and it said, in 338 BC. Take yourselves back to 338 BC, August the 2nd. A Macedonian army led by Philip II defeated the combined forces of Athens and Thebes in the Battle of Chaeronea, securing Macedonia, hegemony in Greece, and the Aegean Sea. How do we know that? I mean, that is really a long time ago. So, on this day in history, that happened. I know, I'm no substitute for Paul Gleiser. Okay, a little bit of Rotary business. We do need your July volunteer hours. I know that we're just now getting into August, and I know a lot of you out there are a part of other organizations. Just remember, other organizations you volunteer at, your church, if you're a part of the PTA, if you're a part of your kid's school, if you're a part of other boards, and you volunteer, make sure to get those hours to Holly. Semi-annual dues notices are now past due. If you have not paid yet, please do so immediately. Okay, and then a reminder to bring your grocery sacks. We are still collecting grocery sacks. We want that to kind of be an ongoing service project that we are all going to be doing in the club, to take those grocery bags over to the to the East Texas Food Bank, and they use those, and it's my understanding they need as many of those bags as they can get to categorize and stack up some of those food items that they distribute. Bring your grocery sacks. Okay, so next week, we're gonna have Karen Lewis here. She is going to give us a program on the UT Tyler Medical School, which I know, it's a really interesting. I think that that's something that's really wonderful. Of course, I work at Christus, so I drive by there every day. Construction is really in the throes of construction. And if you can imagine all those areas out there where they're building all of that, and those people that are working in this heat, just so you know, just because it's 107 degrees outside, there are people that work every day on construction projects. They work on our highways, our byways, and they're out in this heat. This is dangerous heat. It's the time when people suffer heat stroke. So please, if you're going to be out in the hot heat, make sure you stay hydrated and just say a little prayer for those service workers that are working on those projects and go to work every day. Okay, now I'm going to call my trusty sidekick, Colby McElwee, to the podium. I'm sorry, I was trying to wait until you were done eating. And he's going to give our introduction of our speaker today.
Welcome. Everybody's here today. So today we have with us Dr. Wei Wu. Wei Wu, sorry, is a professor of English and chair of the Department of Literature and Languages at the University of Texas at Tyler. Her research encompasses comparative studies of rhetoric, global feminist rhetoric, and history of compassion and transnational context. One of her articles, Lost and Found in Transnation, Modern Conceptualization of Chinese Rhetoric, won the award in 2009, Teresa Enos Award for Best Rhetoric Reviews. Her books include Once Iron Girls from 2010, Reading and Writing About Disciplines of Rhetoric Approach in 2015, the second edition in 2023, Chinese First Treatise on Rhetoric, a Transnational and Communication, Global, sorry about that. She also serves on an advisory board with ITEP, an English proficiency test company. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Wu.
I would like to thank you all for inviting me to speak again. This is actually the second time that I'm speaking to this club, but then I'm so glad to see younger faces. There's a lot of them. Yeah. Old folks are great. You know, they are the foundation of this club, but then I was just talking to Kathy, we want the sustainability, so we can have much longer history. So my talk today is about the English major. A lot of people have actually the traditional understanding of an English degree. So I would like to share with you what at the UT Tyler we have done and then the future of the English degree. I think it's Katie. So here she is actually on the recruitment team. We work together. So, and then she can help me recruit more students and know UT Tyler better. So we know that English is oftentimes people associate English with teaching only. So you go to high school. So what else can English do for you? Oh, you can be a creative writer. But then it takes years and years to have a breakthrough. Even if you work as a creative writer, you publish 10 books, you're still struggling trying to catch up. Unless you can publish a book every year. And then in 10 years, you can make lots of money. Now with Amazon, you actually can make at least by yourself or collaborating with other people, you can make at least 100,000 a year. That's a new market for, but then you need to hire faculty who are specialized in fiction, nonfiction, poetry, and the screenplay in order to do that. So right now we don't have that capacity, but I know where the market is if we want to go there. So, but then what we are emphasizing right is that Pam is here. She remembers her English major. You write about literature. So why do we write about literature? Why the law school wants English majors? It's because their research capability. Because they read the literature, they have to do research to find out more material for their own argument. And then the data, if you look at the literature, is actually data. It's names, locations, is the scenes, the movements, Actually, when you study literature, you study history through vivid stories and characters and movements, So we are moved actually kind of like watching a movie. So that's a powerful mind. So here, all these are the English skills. The last one is important. Studying literature enables students to accumulate knowledge of history and the craft of storyline. This is very important. It's not only for creative writing. So now we have two majors. I hope that we can develop a new major in game and narrative design. That's where the market is now. Okay, the first one, that's what I talked about last time. It was a minor in writing with technology. So a lot of people say, oh, I want to be a communication major. But no, communication major prepare you for writing for newspaper. Now newspaper hiring is questionable. And then you work for mass media, like anchors, and then you collect material. But then I encourage everybody to read a book, which is called When Mackenzie is in Town. That book will tell you what is happening behind all these local newspapers and the mergers of big companies. When the Mackenzie is in town, that's the book to read if you are reading about business. So here, the minor in writing with technology teaches students how to design website, podcast, how to sell your product, marketing, and then you do data analysis. It cultivates, it asks you to apply your research skills from literature to analyze data. And that's a powerful skill. And then you write on digital and public domains. And then we also have a class which teaches students how to edit online texts. So they have this skill. This is easy to see. However, the minor in game and narrative designing is actually new. So we are going to probably launch it next fall. I designed this because number one, now I have professors. I hired people. They can do it. This is based on literature study. There are so many big games out there that are based on stories. So who is writing the story? Right now, there is actually no training in English at all to try game narratives. So our department just hired, we have 2 faculty members to teach students how to do that. But then young people are really into games. There is analysis of business. It's like how much money you spend on going to movies and how much money you spend on video games. And they found out the money you spend on video games get much better return for your money because you can play again and again into different levels. So, and then game narrative, we teach game narrative creation based on literary knowledge. So one class is teaching literature. At the same time, students have to create the narrative. So there is a format that you follow, but then you don't have to use the book. You can only focus on one character and then write your little story. And then the second class is to finish a game prototype design, and hopefully students by the end of the class can sell their games. There are two programs in the nation right now to teach game design. One is Michigan State University, the other one is Old Dominion University. But neither of these programs relates game design and narrative design. They don't teach narrative at all to literary study. So that's where the resources are for students to be creative. So so here are the data analysis skills that our students, English majors at the UT Tyler accumulate or develop when they are having their English degrees. So these are the cleansing the skills that they are teaching. So we have been delivering students since 2019. So that has some history. Students now usually get jobs before they graduate, like in English. So here are the jobs that are listed for this, particularly Google UX and UI credentials. Now we incorporate these credentials. They are free to higher education. So these courses, we incorporate them into our current courses. So students will have their badge when they finish that class. We have, let me think, 4 classes I incorporate these UX, UI. UX means user exchange, the interface with how to analyze the audience, how to analyze the market, and how to create your product to meet their needs and demand. So the market for the minor in game and narrative design is number one, literary knowledge students have gained enables them to expand it to create storylines of video games. And then people often think, well, how English can do it because it requires computer science now. There are a lot of platforms. It's like you are using a spreadsheet. If you know how to click which icon, you can find the characters, you can animate them, So there are some platforms out there for students to use. I don't know how to move my cursor here. Basically, and then this digital platform is open to gamers and game creators. Yeah, I think, and then you can use free software to go there. It's a long list. We don't know. Do we have internet? No. Okay, that's fine. So, and then on this website, there are a lot of at least 10 platforms for people to use freely. For free. And then there is also a software for you to learn how to market your product, your game. UT System has a technological transfer office which has 5 lawyers there. So I was making connections between students' product. I'm still early. I don't know when will come, probably next year, the year after that. But then at least we have support within the system to help students out. Students do need a lawyer when they want to sell their products, And then currently there is no specific workforce supply line for this rapidly growing job market. So here is the video game market. You have big games, and then you have 1 or 2 companies. What they do is they have a huge game, and everybody is actually playing the similar games across the world. And then what they do is that they create more levels, more complicated levels. However, there are only about a little bit over 20 games, video games, based on books, not only on literature, based on all books. So that's why I see there is some niche market that we can send our students to work in. So that's why I said there is no similar concentrated program in Texas or in the nation. And then I just talk about the old Dominion University, but then ours is different, unique. So that's the end of my talk. If you have any questions, please just let me know or raise up your hands.
I have a question.
Yeah?
Where does AI fit into either the instruction or the creation?
Yes, very good
So
question.
much question.
Very good question. Number one, our faculty have already is now preparing for this fall to use ChatGPT to generate the data statistics. So that's a machine. You just use like a calculator, it's faster. Second is ChatGPT, I kind of like explored it, and then I tried it. The writing is always this, and then a lot of repeated sentences, it doesn't go deeper. So, and then I have a textbook, where we have an assignment for students to sum up some articles. So I give the command to the computer, to ChatGPT, sum up this article, I sum up my article, I said, sum up Weiwu's article, And then the ChatGPT told me, I apologize, my memory is started only in 2021. So before the fall semester begins, we're going to have writing faculty members are going to have a meeting to talk about how to take advantage of ChatGPT. ChatGPT has one advantage to me. Like for example, if I have written something and then I just post it, it said, modify it, make it better. And then when it generate the repeated statement, but the thing is sometimes this type of generation will remind me of some words that I didn't use, and then I can do better editing. You cannot, basically my experience throughout this summer is you cannot rely on ChatGPT to edit your writing. You have to edit it and cut it short. So that's my experience. Yeah.
Professor, the last dozen years or so, there's been a massive shift, universities guiding students into STEM,
Yes.
and it seems like maybe there's somewhat of a shift. We don't have to compete with the Japanese and the Chinese on every front, but do you see a shift back more so slowly into the liberal arts, classic education, an appreciation of
Very good question. Very good question. This is why this type of innovation is very important.
Yeah.
The classical study is great. You know the history. You expand it. Like for example, I'm now studying French. I just want to learn. So would this fit any job? You never know. But then there is a shift on basically professional schools, like a business, you do this, you do that. However, this is a trend that I discovered across the nation, is that except the English, well, students start to practice writing. Day one, other majors, they don't ask you to write. Even if you have a master's in business, you have 75 students in it. Sometimes they assign you to write a paper, but then they do not know how to teach writing because they are not trained to teach writing. They are not trained to teach logic behind the writing. And then STEM students actually my daughter graduated from Texas A&M in engineering. All these sayings about the engineers. We are engineers, we don't read, we don't write. And then actually on the job, they have a lot of writing and reading to do. And then it's until master's degrees and students, all these graduates study to realize, man, I need to learn how to write, to share information, to let people know about our products. It's not only the people in marketing who do that. So that's a sad fact, but it's true across the nation.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah. So when you were talking about writing, and there's been several different developments happening with writing in terms of now, and not just ChatGPT, but there are certain AI programs out there that can read a book or read a style and then write something for if I was a student that I might be able to turn in, or if I'm a writer that could write in the style, if I feed it something that I've written, it can mimic that style. What do you think that's going to have, what kind of impact do you feel like that's gonna have on the future of content that comes from humans and not content that can be generated from these actual programs? There was one program that they allowed that program, they scanned one Ernest Hemingway book into this program, and the program wrote like 5,000 books like that in the style of Ernest Hemingway. So what happens to writing, and how do you, when someone turns something into you, how do you check to see if I wrote it?
Actually, if you know the
I'm
AI.
asking for a friend.
Yeah, it may be true. Like you can imitate Hemingway's style, but then you can never repeat or even regenerate what Hemingway has in the book, like the detailed description of a scene. Or you think about a machine. All AI is based on knowledge that has already been created. The data is existing. Any data that does not exist, it does not generate. So the new initiatives, the new laws, you can cheat sheet for probably once or twice, but then you repeated all this, and then you can see all this writing, that is repeating itself. What we can control, like for example, a lot of high school teachers worry about students, steal articles, plagiarize, I'm not afraid of that. You know why? When you have very detailed assignment, ask for this, ask for that, they cannot do it. The machine just simply cannot do it.
Okay, so you're saying that for the remainder of my MBA program, there's absolutely.
Yeah, however, like if I were an actress, I would be worried. No, because they are talking about using your image to recreate it. However, that's a violation of copyright or your whatever right you have, As long as we have law to protect that, I do not think it would be a problem. So I can give you one example internationally to see why protecting copyrights makes the United States stronger and stronger, and China weaker and weaker. Why there is no copyright protection in that country, and there won't be. There are some good products. For example, there is I bought a ceiling light, a ceiling fan with light. Usually we have just, 4 lamps, but then somebody in China created the, what do you call it, the ceiling light. It's kind of like what do you call it, ceiling fixture, so you have light, but then you have a remote control. The fan are hidden above the light. So when you have the remote control, suddenly you see the ceiling, and when you press the stop, it just stops. You don't see the ceiling fan. So I bought it, and then there are so many companies I think before pandemic, one product is sold like this. Original price was about $300 because at that point, not a penny. However, there are so many copycats in China now. The price dropped to $68, $7, $80. And then in the United States, these companies do not copy. they come up with a different product, which also include the fan. The fan, you can see the fan, but then it's smaller, it still have the, we don't do that. However, in China, if you want to be a creator, you create something. Some people just steal it and suddenly everybody is making it. And then the quality is horrible. And then I'm complaining about that product because they did not even have legitimate description of how to assemble that thing. It took me like 3 hours to figure out how to assemble. You know, so these are the market, the global perspective on why we are doing this. You know, the copyright issues, all these things. You know, yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I think whenever you spoke last time, it was about what an English professor could do in business and how it could help in different types of business. Could you kind of elaborate on that a little bit?
I'm not sure about English professors. We have different types of professors.
Well, student, I say English
Oh,
students.
Students, yes. And then these are their skills. Like for example, if you are running a huge health insurance company, you need data. We have software to generate. You can use R, you can use Tableau. However, if you are CEO, you are not going to run your data. You need the craft. You need somebody to help you to make decision, right? And somebody has to generate the data, not only generate it, but then create these graphics and create a report. And then make a recommendation. If we take this will be the consequences or the future. If we do this, history tells us during what period this product has shown potentials and by what point it did. So, but then if you only study computer science, you cannot do all these prediction, forecasting, or reflection. And that's English major's job.
Did you say that AI can contact and use copyrighted material or not?
I don't know actually, but then currently there is a fight. There are a lot of people are watching whether their writing is being borrowed or being collected into the database and generate a varied type of writing based on that core writing piece. Yeah. It's not about the ethical issue. Even when new technology comes up, we always have concerns. You know, it's always like that. But then whether we can protect the humanities, that's the issue. Yeah.
You know, whenever there's been technology evolves, industrial revolution, whatever, people initially say, oh, this is going to take over the world. But then what it does is it creates more jobs and society moves up. Do you think there's a place for AI? Like right now, everybody's freaking out. AI is going to do this and that. What do you think the role of it would be, AI, in say another 10 or 20 or 30 years?
Well, I think number one.
In terms of writing.
Yeah, in terms of writing, email, like condolences, these greetings, they can do a pretty good job because these are the messages that do not need to have lots of details or specifics, you know. So I know that some international scholars outside China or some graduate students even, they use these to just write a simple email, you know. That's one part of it. That's what I know. But then I'm not in the front line of the AI analysis or the information. However, I think the programming, like the computer science is training now, the professionals will be replaced by AI very soon, very soon. So if you are claiming, you are saying, I want to be a computer science major, you don't want to do programming. You want to do hyper security. You want to do data analytics program. Not to create the program, you need to really come up with a different type of program using AI for your service. So what I see, I feel by my interact with people is everybody, including all of us, to some degree, will use AI very soon. If you see when you write email, the email tells you the reply, sounds wonderful, thank you. That's AI already. You use GPS, is AI already. So AI is already with us. We just, and I think you guys are business people. I think this hype about AI is somebody behind the market and really wants to have stock prices.
Yeah.
That's another. But then that's my guess.
Yeah, I was just thinking, we did that. I remember late eighties, early nineties. I was like, in my 20s back then. But she was in her mid-40s. And she was all worked up, single mom, all worked up. Oh no, we're gonna get computers, we're not gonna be typing stuff anymore. And so, now we've got computers and it's created so much more opportunity for people. I just sit back and take a deep breath and.
Yeah, but you know what? Some jobs are not going away.
That's exactly right.
Some jobs are not going away. For example, service jobs.
Yeah.
There is I heard some news about 3D printer to create the houses in Austin. They actually are printing houses right on the side to build a community there. I think it depends, 500 houses there. Yeah. But then still, you need the people to work on these things.
Yeah.
It doesn't just pop out from the earth. You still need people. However, the good thing about the United States is that you have freedom to pursue, to quest. So that's why we have I have a big conference. I'm an international person, so I have learned a lot because I did not know anything. So I've been learning my lifetime. What I have in confidence in the United States is our market is free. We have freedom to pursue our ideas, and there is no limit. Look at Elon Musk. What does he have? He only has wishes. He only has dreams. But then, because he has money, he can get all these dreams. He failed some. In Los Angeles, he wanted to build a tube that car can go down on the ground and then just shoot to San Francisco from Los Angeles. That failed, but then he could afford to fail. But then what he has, he's selling is dreams. For example, you can dream, if you have enough money, you can dream to make all cars top panel into a solar panel. The material can be totally solar. You can be electrified all the time. Some people are talking about how to get the railroad, our highways being electrified, so you drive on it, you are charging yours. I think that's more complicated than making the panels, solar panels, Yeah, or maybe the pan can be solar panel, can like generate electricity. You just need to think, you just need to be innovative. But then the United States allows that. I'm an immigrant. I can reach this level is because I'm very thankful to Lord to allow me to the United States, to develop myself, to make my contributions to the world, to my students, to people like you all, to to know you all. This is a great opportunity for me.
That's great.
Don't run away yet.
Oh.
Thank you so so much. That was really enlightening. I feel like I learned more just now. I feel like I'm like, oh my goodness, that's awesome. Plus, I got to ask my questions for my friend about Rotary. And you answered them so thoroughly. We have something for you. We have made a contribution to the Literacy Council of Tyler in your honor for doing the program. So thank you so much for that. That was really insightful. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. Okay. All right. I love learning about, I hope maybe one day, well, once I get done with all this, maybe I can take your class and learn a little bit more. Okay, all right. So now we are going to, I'm going to give you guys back a little bit of time. We're going to do the Ace of Diamonds. Now, when I walked in, I saw that it was 1,800. I know it's more than that because we've gotten some tickets and we've added to the pot. So, Dr. Wu, we're going to let you draw the winning ticket. And it may be the winning ticket.
We have $1,907 in our.
1,907.
7.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, shall I read?
The last, you will need to read what, the last 3 digits?
Yeah.
The
You want to
last 3
match it
digits.
with yours?
No, I'm not matching it with mine.
So I'll have a bit back again. 289.
289?
Do
Where the I don't know if that's allowed. All right. So the Ace of Diamonds is going to live for another week. And guys, it's getting, I bet you next week it probably gets to 2,000. So come prepared, come ready. Now's the time to start really buying tickets. Okay? All right, if you will now stand with me as we recite the 4-way test of the things that we think, say, or do. First,
Is it the truth?
second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
and fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And we are adjourned.
Who's this?